Welcome back, bub. This is another refilming video. This one is a refilming of the untold story of Maine's population boom, which I'm going to change the title of this video just to reflect that it is completely new. What I was talking about in that video was a recent article that came out from Atlas Van Lines and how it says that in 2022 and 2023, Maine ranked among the top 3 most moved to states in America. In 2023, we were actually number 1, which is incredible to win anything, and Maine wins a lot of awards. We are first in the nation to do many popular decisions that become popular afterwards. We are the first to elect women senators and have gay marriage, legalizing marijuana. We are at the forefront of those. And not only that, we see the sun first in the U.S. as we are the most northeastern state. We have a thriving beer, restaurant, marijuana culture here in Maine, where we win national, if not world, awards frequently. So Maine is no stranger to winning. Winning this award, however, is a little bit... Maine is incredible. But Maine has had a pretty steady population of about 1 million to 1.3 million since 1950. I remember reading my grandfather. He raised me. He was born in 1909, and he used to keep records of the population of Maine every Sunday. He would sit in his booth in the church, the back right corner. He would notate how many people came to church that day. He kept information on the population of the state, and he just kept other little bits of relevant information. So based on those actual notes from real life cataloging, I can tell that the state has stayed pretty steady for almost 100 years, if not a little bit longer. So when you have a state that's steady in population and structure like that, it becomes a heavy burden to suddenly have 75,000 individuals promised to be added by 2029, not to mention all the other people that are moving here because they're already citizens. They're not foreign-born. They're already American citizens. They're just relocating. So Maine has had a huge influx of relocation, which, again, when you have steady population, the infrastructure is going to have a hard time. Not only that, we have a pretty established way of life here. Up until Janet Mills changed the state motto, it used to say the way life should be when you drove into the state of Maine. Now it says open for business, like we're sluts for hire, and it's disgusting. I hate that motto. I hate it, and I hate what it represents, and I hate that Janet Mills did that to our state. I hate that she makes us look like we're some kind of prostitutes, that we can just be hired. No, we have natural resources. We have plenty that we want to protect. This is the way life should be. Not open for fucking business. Get out of here with that shit. Honestly, that has got to change. That has got to change ASAP, in my opinion. That's not what this video is about, however. So as people come into the state and you have a pretty steady population, it's gonna raise some issues. People coming from elsewhere are going to bring some ideas, some ideals, some things that they would like to see with them. But this is where there needs to be some hesitation. Because if you're going to move to another country, if you're going to go from Maine to Brazil or Maine to Macedonia, you're going to have to leave a lot of expectations behind. Things are not going to be the way that you're used to, and they may not be the way that you like. And if that's the case, maybe that location isn't for you. Maybe you shouldn't try and force the location to change around you. I know it becomes very controversial and hot topicy, but it's no kidding that it's no joke that California has had problems in 2023, and they're only ramping up early in 2024. As people want to leave that state, they're moving to places like Maine. What I see as a problem is that if people that move from California to Maine keep voting, continually voting the way that they were, that made them flee the state that they just left, voting the way they were in the new state that they're in now, it is going to have the same outcome. So as people move to the state of Maine, get ready to work your ass off. Sit down, be quiet, kind of take your time, be a little comfortable with being uncomfortable, because most Mainers are in some form or fashion. See how you can help the community before you make the community help you. And just make friends with your neighbors and start integrating yourself. Do those things and you'll be an incredible citizen here in Maine, and you'll be welcomed with open arms by all. But if you're coming here looking for handouts, expecting that things are going to be easy, or that in the cold winter months you're going to have clothing provided for you because you need it because you're freezing, well, we don't do handouts here in Maine. That is not how Mainers live. My grandfather, who was born in 1909 and died in 2005, 6, he would not have ever dreamt of the government giving him a handout. If it had happened, he would have been skeptical AF. It did not happen. But now we've allowed the government to give us handouts, and we've started to be like a stray cat in a neighbor's backyard. We're going to come where the food is. We're just going to come, and why bite the hand that feeds you? You're just going to keep receiving this free food. The problem is that neighbor's buying that cat food, and maybe that family can't afford that food that they're giving their stray. So by that woman feeding that cat every single day, in fact, she's actually damning her own household. And in fact, that's what we're doing right now. Maine has a dying infrastructure that needs revitalization. It is happening on a small community level, but it does need to have bigger roots. It needs to have more of an impact, and there should be more attempts to make it happen. We should encourage it more. We need to stop relying on the government for everything, for anything. We need to rely on each other and our communities. If our communities, and especially those that are moving to Maine now, if you're moving to Maine, integrate into the community. Integrate into the community. And we should all do that. Start taking care of the homeless in your community. Start taking care of those that need shelter, that need clothing, that need some additional food, that have children that are growing too quickly and they don't have the money to buy constantly new clothes, but maybe you have some hand-me-downs. Just start getting involved. Start fixing up, cleaning up your own neighborhood, walking down the streets in the springtime, cleaning up bottles and trash. If all communities did that in their own community, we would solve so many problems. So as people move to Maine, those that are moving to Maine, be ready to work hard and to not ask for much, because your neighbors aren't going to ask for much, except to be left alone. Don't come here, don't come after our guns, don't come after our children, and don't come for our freedom. And you will probably fit in pretty well in most areas in Maine. But if you break one of those 3 rules, you come for our guns, you come for our children, or you come for our freedom, and you have no place here in Maine. And I hope you realize that quickly and you move yourself out, because we are about guns, freedom, and protecting our children. And if you have a problem with that, then this is not the state for you, which is fine, because there are 49 other states that you are free to move to. So I implore you to use that freedom to move to those other states if you're looking to move to Maine now and you're seeing this video. If you're from Maine, and there are people that become neighbors, they're from out of city, from out of state, from another country, be warm and receptive. Don't expect anything different from them that you wouldn't from your neighbor, from your Maine neighbor. But that being said, if your Maine neighbor wouldn't do it, I wouldn't necessarily put up with it from someone from out of state or out from another country, because we have an established way of life here and it's under threat, and we have been the way life should be for so long, and we need to get back to that. And we get back to that by warmly welcoming those that are here in Maine for the right reasons, with the right intentions. And if you're not here in Maine with the right motives and the right intentions, then you're not going to get a very warm welcome, and there's nothing I can say that will change that. So this is just kind of a bringing awareness to the Atlas Van Lines resource, where Maine is number one move to states in 2023. We made we have been the top state for several years, but last year we made number one. So as we make number one, let's keep Maine's priorities in mind and get back to, once again, the way life should be. Until next time, bub, have a good night.